And the signal drops down to 1. How's it going, Tish, Karen, Gail, Diane, Susan, Connie, Cynthia, Lorna, hello again. Chantel and Jeanette, how's everyone doing today? What's happening, everyone? What's the word on the street? What's going down? Is anyone on it like a car bonnet? Hope everything's good in the hood with everyone. Hello, Amber and Claire. Thank you very much for joining my tour today. It's an honour and a privilege. And Michelle, how's it going, honey? How's life in the fast lane? Mimi as well. Hello, Mimi. Thank you for coming on my tour today. For the 4th tour in a row, I brought you to a riverside location. I'm trying to stay away from the centre of Edinburgh. Hello, Barbie and Michelle. How's it going? Karen is on it like a car bonnet, downloading all our postcards. I've only got about 50 postcards to download, so I'm not too fussed that way. Hello, Memphis Stefan. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for coming on my tour. Hello, Barbie. How's life today? Beautiful day here today in Edinburgh, Scotland. You can see these new houses were just built here, look. It's a lovely day here. We've even got blue sky. Mr. Blue Sky, watching every day. Hey, hey, hey. New Scotland, Nova Scotia, huh? Yeah, it was Tartan Day the other day there. Well, it's called World Tartan Day, but I think it's only America and Canada that celebrate it. Of course, Nova Scotia's the new Scotland. Many, many Scottish connections, of course. Lots of dodgy McDonald's go there. Canada and America. So welcome to the Water of Leith walkway. Might see some wildlife today, and that's not the locals. I'm not going to the Kirgate shopping centre today. I'm going to stay away from train spotting territory. This is where I do my train spotting tours. Hey Lorraine, how's it going? Welcome to the Water of Leith. For the 4th day in a row, I've decided to stay away as much as possible from the centre of Edinburgh. You should have seen how busy it was yesterday. It was horrendously busy. And this is only, what month is this? April? April? I know it's the weekend, the holidays are on, but Edinburgh was absolutely jam-packed yesterday. God almighty me. Hello, everyone who's joining. And Catherine. How you doing? Agatha. Thank you very much for coming on my tour and all my sponsors today. Remember and cancel all your sponsorships, everyone. I think Heygo said they're going to cancel them anyway. Automatically. So, but just in case, you're better cancelling your sponsorship. Of course, you can sponsor them on my Buy Me a Coffee page. Oh, so here's some little ducks coming. And you're getting fried. Crispy Peking duck tonight for dinner, everyone. Who wants crispy Peking duck? I don't even like duck. I've only tried it once and I didn't think it was nice at all. Duck. Ugh. It was not my cup of tea, let me say. Same with pigeon. I had pigeon once. Can I give you a bit of advice in life? Never eat pigeon. Oh, thank you, Barbie, for putting. Oh, thank you, Barbie, for putting in the link. Oh, somebody's feeding them. They all headed off there. They all headed off down there. Somebody's out with some food. Of course, the seagulls are there as usual, grabbing everything. Hello, Laurie. And Catherine, thank you for leaving a tip. How's life, everyone? Thank you, Barbie, for putting the link to Edinburgh Street Tours. If you want to check that out, everyone in the chat there. I'm looking to rickshaw on Sunday. Is it not a week on Sunday? Is it the 23rd? I think it's a week on Sunday, is it? Agatha likes duck. What, eating it or watching them? Princess Kate shoots ducks, did you know that? You know the wife of William, she shoots ducks. 23rd of April. Hello, Christina. Adrian. How's it going, buddy? 23rd. Lucinda! How's life? I've got my new selfie stick. I've got my new gimbal out today. I'm using my new gimbal for the first time, right? And it's got an extendable selfie stick, right? And that's actually really handy, because what I've done is I've slightly extended the selfie stick, right? And so the camera's more in level with my eye. I don't have to hold my hand up as high. An added bonus. So I've got the new gimbal for the first time, so bear with me while I get used to what it does. I've tried it in it's got 4 different modes: automatic, follow, PF, and first person view or something. But I've got it on automatic. It seemed to move about a bit on some of the other modes. Your tour on rickshaws the 23rd. Aye. I like eating duck. It wasn't for me, like. It wasn't my cup of tea, duck. Pigeon as well. I had pigeon once in London at a Christmas party. Ugh. And it was pink as well. To make it worse, it was pink pigeon. Ugh. Hello, Natasha. How's life? We're just waiting on Artie coming now. Where's Artie? Artie's usually here. I've never seen Artie coming in. Stephanie, how's it going? Yes, I'm quite pleased about my new gimbal with the extendable built-in extendable tripod. Quite handy, like. So I now don't have to, because normally I've got to hold it away up here. Now I've only got to hold it like level. So it's quite handy, actually. This is the Water of Leith walkway, see? Look, remember I done the tour of Dean Village? So this walkway here, see there? Thank you, Barbie, for putting a link to my YouTube channel. So I've just filmed a little video, I'm going to upload it, look. So this takes you all the way to Stockbridge, to Dean Village in Cannamills. St George's Day, yeah, somebody told me that. Who was it, Don? Don told me that, St George's Day. Of course, he was from Syria. St George was from Syria. St Andrew was from Palestine. You think England and Scotland could get patron saints from their own country? Hello, Debbie and Marianne. How's life? Welcome to the jewel in Edinburgh's crown, Leith. Voted the 4th most hippest place to live and work in the whole world, or number 7th hippest place in the whole world, depending on if you read Rough Guide or Lonely Planet. Hey, Marianne and Debbie and Rose. Hello, Rose. How's it going? Oh, my love is like a red, red rose, newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like a melody that sweetly plays in tune. Nicola, Melissa, hello everyone from New England. I'm not looking to save the world, I'm just looking for a New England. That's my American football team, the New England Patriots. I thought I would support the New England Patriots just to annoy my friends from Scotland, because I had England in the title. And that was in the days when the New England Patriots were not very good, by the way. I'm not a glory hunter. Hello, Melissa, how's it going? Thank you so much for coming on my tour. What's this? Hi, I'm good, thank you. How am I? Living the dream, eh? Where else would I rather be than on my end of my gimbal talking to myself? Everybody looks at you like you're a complete and utter idiot. What else could I do? Want to do on this beautiful sunny day apart from drinking beer? Do you want to buy a house in a month? 300 grand for a house? $500,000 for the penthouse suite up the top there? Art Deco style architecture, quite nice. There used to be a picture house here. This used to be a cinema here. This used to be a cinema. When we were young, we used to go to the cinema here on a Saturday morning to watch Flash Gordon. Flash! Ah! Hey, Marianne and David Dictor Benetti. Excuse me. We like you looking crazy. Yeah, but I'm in Leith, man. I might get mugged, eh? You should have seen me when I'd done a virtual tour in Manchester. These 4 young guys try to mug me with my gimbal. Hey, Caroline, Lorna. How's Lorna from Dumbarton today? You're keeping quiet there. Are you off work? Is everyone off work today? It's Good Friday. Or is it? It's not just a Good Friday, by the way. because you're on my tour, this is going to be a great Friday. Hello, Linda. Sue. Carolyn. Come here, duck. Let's have you crispy pecan duck for dinner. Come on. We'll try and reel it in. No more work until the 20th. Woohoo! That duck's just got one thing that's mind, eh? Sex. Oh. How old is your grandson? Remember, my tours are not really suitable for children. I wouldn't advise children to watch my tours, likes. If they're about 13 or 14, it's not too bad. If you don't know me by now. By the way, I wonder if I'll get away with my. I wonder if I'll be allowed to. I wonder if they're given a free rein. You know, on whatever new platform I go onto. Do you think they'll allow me to get away with all my nonsense like I usually do? Or do you think I'll get pulled up? I wonder if I'll get pulled up, on the new. Wait till I go for the first time on the new platform and they'll be like, what the heck is this Scottish guy? Does he speak English? He'll be 16 on Sunday. That's quite good, eh? Hello, Susan and Coralie and everyone else who's joining. Amber, I wish I was off. Aye, 16. Hello, Marcy. Vicky. Oh, I just felt vertical there. I just felt like I had vertical there. My birthday is Monday. Ah, Rose. Happy birthday when it comes. Maybe, I don't know if I'm doing a tour every day, I think. I've put a tour on every day. There's only a few days left on Heygo. Mary, hello Mary. Hope you have the best day, Rose, when it comes. Is the signal okay, by the way? Nice pictures. Hello, Carol Sue. Tish, picture in the 6. We've only got 2 bars, but the screen light is quite clear, actually. See the cherry blossoms. What's everyone been up to today? It's quite early in the morning, so for some of you guys in America. They've not been up too much. What's this say? So, with the darkest days behind our ship of hope. No, that should have been a comma there. So, with the darkest days behind, our ship of hope will steer. And when in doubt, just keep in mind, our motto is persevere. That's the motto of Leith, everyone. Hey, did you want me to play 10-pin bowling with the rats? Will I get pulled up one more time? Ev! What's this? Hey, go, pull me up, man. Fraternising with the pigeons. Hey, Paul, try to chat up a pigeon live on tour. That's animal cruelty. We can't have Paul trying to chat up the pigeons. It's unacceptable. I'm sure there's a special kind of name for that. Hello, Linda, Valerie, everyone. I think Denmark's just changed the law, so you can now sleep with an animal.
Hello, Mama, I love you.
Aye, cheers, pal. You fud. You see that guy there? Fucking absolute fanny. Sorry for swearing, by the way. That guy just jumped on me, man. Idiot. Who do these people think they are, eh? Jesus, holy moly, man. He's lucky he didn't get decked there. Honestly, I was going to punch him in the head. I reckon if this guy knows who he's messing with, man. I'm Purple Paul, by the way. Did you know that? Did you know my name's Purple Paul? Hey, Marlene. Is your second name on a top? Were you in the Bond movie? Hello, Artie. How you doing? Marlena on a top. Remember her from the Bond movie? Hey, Letitia. Norma. Shannon. Dawn. Hello, everyone. Just in case I can't see you. Letitia, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, that guy's lucky he didn't get punched in the head there, man. Twat. You know what I mean? He was a grown man, about 40 or something like that. He wasn't young. Hello, Marlene, thank you for leaving a tip. Ewa, Stephanie, hello everybody. Thank you so much for leaving. Oh yeah, I just about got mugged. I got called a paedophile before in Leith by these young guys. They called me a paedophile because I was walking about with a camera. You know, teenagers, about 16, 17, 4 of them, tried to call me a paedophile because I was walking about with a camera. Then the next day I saw them and I had an in-person tour and they tried to get smart with me again. I've been threatened to get stabbed in Leith as well. Hello everybody. Oh, wait a second. Hello everybody. Thank you so much for coming on my tour. Apologies for the swearing inadvertently. Swearing back there, is that a word? Inadvertently. Have I said that wrong? Inadvertently, is that a word? Anyway, hello everybody. Thank you so much for coming on my tour. I just got a bit of a fright there, man. I was going to deck him, man. Thank you so much for coming on my tour today. Is there any Heygo virgins here? Mary, Carla, hello everybody. Yeah, I'm a bit discombobulated. Look at all the bum boxes in the tree here. Look. Hello everyone who's joining. How's life everyone? My name is Paul and I'm a tour guide here in Edinburgh. As we all know, this is a tip-based platform. We've only got a couple of days left to try and make some money to help us survive until the summer. Life is too short, eh? Who knows? A week ago today, I woke up full of excitement. I just ordered a brand new gimbal. I've just been in talks with Visit Scotland to help promote my tours and my services to businesses in Scotland. Opened up my email, and there it was. Boom! Heygo's gone. Like the wind. Do I have a Facebook page? Thank you for the tip, everyone. Nelly, hello everyone who's joining in. Thank you so much for coming on my tour today. Do I have a Facebook page? Yes, I've actually got 2 because I messed up. I've got Edinburgh Street Tours and I've also got Virtual Tours Edinburgh. I've also got a YouTube channel, Virtual Tours Edinburgh. Buy me a coffee, Edinburgh Street Tours. Quite complicated, isn't it? Amber. Paul, wait 1 second because the chat's going quite quick here. You will have. Paul, you will continue live streams on Facebook. Yes, I'll do live streams. I'll do live. Can somebody put a link up to my Facebook group, by the way? I'll still do tours on Facebook Live as well. I'm still trying to figure out YouTube Live, but I messed it up twice. I messed up trying to go live on YouTube twice, so I'm still trying to figure it out. Barbie. Facebook. There we go in the chat, everyone. Paul swearing at planes. Oh yeah, that's right. I was trying to film a video the other day there, and this plane flew overhead. You can't actually hear it on the video because I could hear it coming, and I knew it was going to get really loud. So of course I swore. I'm Scottish. We swear all the time. It's one of our traits, you know. Hello Valerie and everyone who's joining. How's life, everybody? Welcome to my hometown today. Edinburgh's really busy just now. We're getting bad signalling problems and so on, and Edinburgh's like heaving. It's like August in Edinburgh just now with all the holidays on. So the last 4 days, the last 3 days I've brought you tours walking along a river. So I thought I would just continue that today. A lovely riverside walk. This is a nod to all the... Look at that. Scotland helped slavery. What does that say there? Does that say Scotland helped slavery? It does, doesn't it? We did have a big role in this slavery, right enough, look. Scotland did. We never had slaves here, but Leith especially. Leith brought in, because Leith was the main port for Scotland at this point. Well, it was still one of the main ports for Scotland, actually. Glasgow was taken over, but there was still a lot of goods came in from the colonies here. You know, so tobacco and rum, cotton, sugar, all that kind of thing. But this is Leith's oldest building, everyone. This used to be a Catholic church called St Ninian's Church here. Beautiful building, isn't it? It's a Grade A listed monument. It was built in 1493, destroyed during the Rough Wooing period. I'm going to turn the phone vertically for you, right? To get the whole picture in. Gravy listed. Grade A listed. It was a Grade A listed building. How now, brown cow? Of course, the English destroyed it in 1544, Karen. Hey, I'm using my new gimbal, by the way, so I had to practice that. So this was destroyed by the English in 1544. Scotland then became a Protestant country. It was formed a Catholic country. And then they rebuilt it in 1600. And then another English person called Oliver Cromwell decided to occupy Leith as well. He turned it into an ammo store. And then the Dutch-style steeple was added on in 1675. Beautiful, isn't it? What time is it? What time is it there? 2:05 in Scotland. Thank you for that. Yeah, they used to execute witches here. This is where witches were tortured here. Have you heard of Agnes Sampson and Helen Clark? They were two Scottish witches. They were part of a coven of witches that had been seen travelling up the east coast of Scotland. I'm on the east coast of Scotland here. And, you know, I do tours about Mary Queen of Scots. And her son was King James, the 6th of Scotland. Well, he actually set sail from Leith, just along here. King James, the 6th of Scotland, sailed from Leith all the way to Denmark to marry Princess Anna, who was 14. She wasn't there, so he got his friend to marry her instead. He eventually went to Norway to collect her, and on the way back, one of the king's ship got sunk by a storm. And back in Denmark, the King of Denmark had started to prosecute people accused of being witches who were trying to kill his daughter. And you've got to bear in mind, the King of Denmark had previously held the lover, the husband, the third husband of Mary Queen of Scots, as a prisoner. He chained him to a pillar for 10 years before Bothwell succumbed to insanity. So the King of Denmark's a bit of a fruitcake as well, like, you know. And so when King James got back to Leith, there'd been some witches who had been spotted flinging black cats into the sea in Leith. They'd been given the black cats by the devil, by the way, just in case you were wondering. And they'd also been seen melting wax effigies of the king in an attempt to sink the ship. So the king put them on trial, right? And they were getting tortured. But he didn't believe them. Until allegedly, Agnes Sampson went across to King James VI and he whispered something in his ear about something that happened on their wedding night between him and Anna, who was only 14, by the way. How could she possibly know that? I don't believe that version, but that's the official version, but I don't believe it. And so she was eventually tortured to death. She was tortured to death by garroting, and that's just when you tie a rope around your head and twist it until your head can cope no more. And that led, of course, to the North Berwick witch trials, which led to Scotland becoming one of the worst countries in the whole of Europe for prosecuting people and accusing them of being witches. And of course, ladies, 84% of whom were female. Nearly 5,000 people were put on trial in Scotland during this period. 2,500 executed. As I said, 84% female. But luckily, in 1603, Elizabeth I died of England, and King James became King James I of England. And he moved to England, and thankfully, he kind of calmed down a little bit. He had other things going on in England, so thankfully the main witch period, hunting period, was over in Scotland. But it was King James VI that started it all. The man was a lunatic. Hello everyone who's joining. Sorry, Michelle and everyone. Melissa, thank you for the tips, by the way. When I'm telling a story, I can't really stop and look at the chat. So I'll tell the Carla. Be reincarnated. Hello Satyam and everybody who's joining. This looks like Amsterdam, doesn't it? It looks very Dutch-like, doesn't it? You see the gable ends, excuse the finger, very Dutch style. Scotland had a lot of trading links in the 17th century. But I'm just got a fact, I'll show you up here actually. I'll take you up to this graveyard actually. 1 second everyone. I'll take you up to this graveyard. Tell you about a Scottish heroine. We've all heard of Bonnie Prince Charlie, yeah? in the 1745 Jacobite Rebellion, the Battle of Culloden in 1746 as well. The Duke of Cumberland, obviously the Jacobite heroines, the ladies, fought against the British Hanoverian forces as well. And the Jacobite ladies were such a problem, the Duke of Cumberland called them the damn rebel bitches of the Jacobites, the damn rebel bitches. Of course, after the Battle of Culloden, the British carried out a mass campaign of rape, murder, pillage, genocide. Tartan was banned, Gaelic, weapons, bagpipes, English, the clan chiefs their sons were already being forced to speak English in Protestant schools. And one Scottish heroine was a lady called Anne Mackintosh. Anne Mackintosh. She was a lady. She was a landowner. She had several tenants on her land. She actually raised an army, a regiment for Bonnie Prince Charlie, of 300 men, who joined Bonnie Prince Charlie at Culloden. Of course, she was not allowed to take part in the battle because she was a female. But she did raise a regiment. She was given the title, the honorary title of Colonel Anne. Colonel Anne Mackintosh. A Jacobite heroine. Excuse me, my asthma. And what happened? There was an incident called the Rout of Moy. She stayed in Inverness, near Culloden, in a place called Moy. And what happened was she was actually hosting Bonnie Prince Charlie in her house. Bonnie Prince Charlie was in the house. Her house. Can you believe it? Lady Anne Mackintosh has got Bonnie Prince Charlie in her house. Now, this is a bit of a problem. Because you see, her husband was an officer in the British Hanoverian forces. Can you believe it? Her husband was a British officer. And he's heard that Bonnie Prince Charlie is in his house. So, of course, he's thinking that Bonnie Prince Charlie might be trying to get it on with his wife. So, with about 1,500 men, they decided to march on his own house to try and capture Bonnie Prince Charlie. Can you imagine it? There's 1,500 men going towards her house. She's hosting Bonnie Prince Charlie, the most wanted man in Europe. There's a £30,000 bounty on his head. And he's in the British officer's house. Luckily, they'd sent ahead. A Jacobite supporter had heard them. So a Jacobite supporter had managed to run ahead of the British Army. And he managed to warn Lady Anne Mackintosh. She only had a handful of servants in her house, right? About 5 or 6 people. So what she did was, she says to them, right, I'll quickly get the prince dressed. We'll try and escape. If you go out and just make as much noise as you can and try and hold off the British Army till I make good to escape with the prince. Well, under the cover of darkness, right, her servants went out with a drum, a couple of guns, and they just started making as much noise as they possibly could, right, under the cover of it was pitch black. There's no street lighting in these times, remember. And their ploy worked so well, they made so much noise, right? The British Army thought the whole forces of the Jacobite army were coming up against them, and they ran away. British Army ran away. 1,500 men ran away from 5 people. Only 1 person was killed. The poor bagpipe player. The bagpipe player got shot. Somebody was probably sick of his noise. Probably somebody from his own side. Take that, shut it, boom! So he got shot, right? So Bonnie Prince Charlie took Inverness the next again day without firing a single bullet. Bonnie Prince Charlie just walked into Inverness and took Inverness. Can you believe it? She became a heroine. Now, there's a bit of a dark side to this, right? Because when I say she raised a regiment of 300 men, the men were given no choice. They were tenants on her land, right? So she basically threatened them with eviction, or you need to join up to that regiment. So, bit of a dodgy one there, right enough, you know. But anyway, after the Battle of Culloden, obviously the Jacobites lost. The battle just lasted over an hour. 1,500 men were killed. Bonnie Prince Charlie escaped. And he managed to evade capture for 5 months before he got picked up by the French and taken to France, before he was eventually booted out of France for being a drunken embarrassment. He ended up dying in the Vatican, and he's actually buried in the Vatican next to the first Pope. Now, most of the Jacobites that were captured were executed, so Lady Anne Mackintosh got taken into prison. She was held as a prisoner for about 6 weeks, but because she was a lady, her husband was a British officer in the army, British Army, she got off. She got off scot-free, as they said. And guess what she did? She moved to Leith. Believe it or not, like today, Leith in the 18th century was a trendy place to live. Believe it or not. And she moved here. She moved here, look at this. The Jacobite heroine, Colonel Anne, Lady Mackintosh. Did I call her Mackenzie? I was calling her Mackenzie, wasn't I? See, that's where you go, people. You should just not listen to me. Lady Anne Mackintosh, who raised a regiment for Bonnie Prince Charlie in the 1745. And the Reverend David Johnston, who founded the Blind Asylum. And also you can see here, the grandparents of the Prime Minister, William Gladstone, yeah? They were from Leith. The Gladstones were a Leith family. And of course they were slave owners. They were Britain's largest slave owners. Right? And when slavery became illegal in Britain, the Gladstone family got the equivalent of £80 million. The slaves, of course, got nothing. And so Lady Anne Mackintosh moved to Leith with her husband, and they got invited to a ball down in London. And the Butcher of Cumberland, who led the British forces, was there at the event, and he recognised Lady Anne Mackintosh, and he got her up to dance to a Hanoverian tune. Can you believe it? It must have been mortifying for Lady Anne, having to dance to a Hanoverian tune. So do you know what she did? Do you know what Lady Anne Mackintosh did? She got the DJ to play a Jacobite tune. Well, when I say DJ, it wasn't really a DJ at that point of the time, you know. You're talking the late 1700s. And she got the band to play a Jacobite tune. And she got up the Duke of Cumberland to dance to a Jacobite tune. So she got her revenge on the Butcher of Cumberland after all, by forcing them to dance to a Jacobite tune. This is a pretty trendy little pub here. Leith's now turned into a kind of, this went from being the drugs capital of Scotland, train spotting and so on, prostitution tolerance zone. Nobody would come to Leith unless you were buying sex or drugs or stolen goods. And this used to be a pub called the Black Swan. And I don't think there's certain pubs, right? I don't think there's certain pubs that should not be allowed to change their name. It's been called the Black Swan for over 100 years, right? Because there was a black swan in the river. And a few years ago it changed its name to Roseleaf. I don't think that should be allowed, eh? That's just my opinion, like, you know what I mean? It serves nice food and all that, but I just don't think it should be allowed to change its name. There's the oldest building in Leith again. Yeah, the Black Swan, you know. The famous pub in Leith and train spotting was called the Volunteer Arms, right? And they were named after the Leith Volunteers, who volunteered in the Great War. Right, so that should be called the Volunteer forever. Well, that got changed to like the Mousetrap. It's like an arcade pub, you know, games and all that, Mousetrap. Like, what's that got to do with Leith's heritage? You know, there's certain pubs that should not be allowed to change their names. So that's just a personal opinion. Rant over for today. This is all getting pedestrianised, by the way. This is getting cut off to traffic. Down here, they're going to semi-pedestrianise this area, so I'm looking forward to that. Hello everyone who's joining. Did I get an alert in my email for a tour? Yes, you do. You get an alert when you on this new platform, Rickshaws. You get an email notification 5 minutes before the tour, which is quite handy. So remember to take lots of postcards, everyone. Nice postcards here. Hello everyone who's joining. But yeah, there's certain pubs I don't think you should be allowed to change their name. If they're named after something in the area, you know, that's been part of the area's heritage, I don't think you should be allowed to change that. Hello everyone who's joining, thank you so much for joining my tour today. Warriors, witches and damn rebel bitches. of Scotland. And the damn rebel bitches is not an insult, by the way, it's an honour. It's an honour to be called a damn rebel bitch. Especially when it was given to them by the Duke of Cumberland. Who committed genocide in Scotland? There we go, nice, isn't it? There's my house again, everyone. Look, say hello to my house. It must be the most viewed house on Heygo. That's my house there. Look, wave. Oh, Karen, thank you for a tip. Hello, Joyce. I think my house must have featured on Heygo about 100 times. It's the 7th tallest building in Edinburgh, right enough, so it's not hard to miss. Cyclists. One of my pet hates in life is cyclists. Cyclists and drivers who park on pavements or drive on pavements are my pet hate. So this is all changed now. Look, we've got gelaterias here. Hello, Paul's house. We've got gelaterias here. You've got Michelin. We've got 3 Michelin star restaurants in Leith, by the way, again. We've got Tom Kitchen, Martin Wishart, and just a couple of weeks ago we got another brand new Michelin star restaurant here in Leith. The Heron. H-E-R-O-N, Heron. So that just got a new Michelin star. So Leith's got a population of about 50,000, 60,000 perhaps now. It's one of the most densely populated areas outside of London, believe it or not. And this building you can see in front of us here. You see this building here, the church. You know, I spoke to you about Gladstones in the graveyard there. So the graveyard is just over there. The church, hello everyone who's joining. So that's the oldest building in Leith. And that's the graveyard just over there, where Gladstone's grandparents are buried. Yes, Joyce, ice cream parlour, it's all changed here. So this church here, it was a Protestant church called St Andrews. Oh no, St Thomas's, sorry, St Thomas's. St Thomas's it was called. And yeah, unfortunately it was built on the proceeds of slavery here. This here, it was built on the proceeds of slavery, unfortunately, this church. Gladstone got £80 million of taxpayers' money. By the way, the taxpayer only finished, British taxpayers only finished paying off the slave owners in 2015. Can you believe that? David Cameron, the Prime Minister, the ex-Prime Minister of Britain, his family were slave owners as well. So you can see how it's affected us even today. Hello everyone who's joining. Yeah, so this was a Protestant church built on the proceeds of slavery. But as you can see now, by the flag outside it, it's now the Sikh Gurdwara. Sikhs started to come to Scotland in the early 1950s. I'm going to do a vertical shot so you can get the whole... I'm just going to turn the phone vertically for you, okay? Hopefully. Here we go. So this is now the Sikh Gurdwara. Yeah, the Sikhs started to come to Scotland in great numbers after the partition of India by Britain in 1947. 1 million Sikhs were murdered. Millions more were left homeless. And the Sikhs started to come to Britain. And you can imagine, what it was like for the ladies, the wives, the mothers, because the men would be out at work, trying to get work, and the ladies were left behind. A lot of them could not speak English. A lot of them were for rural, I can't say that word, rural villages. Rural villages. And they couldn't speak English. It was a bit of a culture shock. But one lady called Trishna Singh got organised. And what she did was she started organising English lessons for the ladies. And she set up a social enterprise, a Sikh Sangog. And she also bought a cafe. They rented a cafe as a way of giving the ladies employment opportunities, training opportunities. She would also organise day trips, activities and so on, outings. And she became a local legend, the Trishna Singh. And she's now actually an OBE. She's actually got an OBE for services to the community. Trishna Singh, what a lady. I'm going to try and get her a statue. One of my main aims in life is to get a statue of Mary Queen of Scots. And then, once I'm successful, I'm going to do one for Trishna Singh for being such an honourable, beautiful lady. She's also the first Sikh chaplain of Edinburgh University. She came on one of my tours a couple of years ago. It was quite nice to meet her. I'm just going to show you something just now. Yeah, I've got. It's quite bright today. I've got 3 bars. I'm just going to show you this plaque here. This is one of the main shopping streets in Leith called Junction Street. It's quite a busy street. So this leads up. So if you come along here, right, my house is along here. So my house is along there. So you come along here. If you go along to the end of this street here, and you turn right, that's on the road to Edinburgh. And it can take you about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to walk, depending on how fast you are. But if you look here, these I came here to show you this plaque. Look. If you can read it. The site of the birthplace of Sir John Gladstone, 1764. Father of the Right Honourable William Gladstone, 4 times British Prime Minister. No, Trishna Singh did. Trishna Singh did. So that's where they were born here. Gladstones were born here. They were a Leith family. So when they got compensated with the slave money, they had to spend the money. You know, so that's how the churches got. A lot of the Free Church of Scotland churches, there's a branch of Christianity called the Free Church of Scotland, and almost every one of their churches was built on the proceeds of slavery, unfortunately. So, by the way, here, we're in, this used to be Leith Hospital here. Just going to show you this in a second if I can. 1 second, everyone. But Leith Hospital was one of the first hospitals. 1 second, I'll see if I can get this lined up for you. Yeah, 1 second, everyone. I'm just trying to get this lined up. Where is it? 1 second, everyone. See there? Look. If you can see it, I'll zoom in 1 second, everyone. We can see it. This pavilion was erected in commemoration of the Diamond Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Victoria in 1897. So this is Leith Hospital. This is the old Leith Hospital buildings here. And they played a part in educating ladies. You know how up until the late 1800s, early 1900s, it was only men who could study medicine. But thanks to Sophia Jex-Blake, the Edinburgh 7, Elsie Ingalls and so on, ladies eventually got accepted to study medicine, and then they were allowed to become nurses as well. And Leith Hospital here was one of the first hospitals to allow ladies to go in to train there. So they were really at the forefront of allowing helping females to train to study medicine and work in the medical industry and so on. And then they built this little apartment block here. It was so successful they had to build nurses' homes for them as well. Which is the oldest building? The yellow one, Mark. The yellow one. I'll show you. The yellow church building. We've only got one building older than 1544 because, as you know, the English destroyed Leith twice because of Henry VIII. Look here. So this was built in 1900. Look. And this is where we talk about a lady called Grace Ross Cadell. Grace Ross Cadell. See? So this was built for the nurses' accommodation. You imagine the parties and the shenanigans, shall we say. Can you imagine the shenanigans, the girls sneaking in the boys at night and all that? And yeah, Grace Ross Cadell, she had actually went to the school. Sophia Jex-Blake was one of the first ladies to qualify and study medicine in Edinburgh. She was the first practicing female doctor. And she set up a training school to train ladies to become doctors for the first time. Elsie Ingalls went and fell out with her. And also Grace Ross Cadell. Grace Ross Cadell. In fact, I'll show you this. So she was born in 1855 and she died in 1918 actually. She actually got expelled from the... Do you know why she got expelled actually? What's this? So see here? Just trying not to get knocked down. Look. Oh, Guru Nanak Gurdwara. So the Sikh community are very well integrated into Leith. Yeah, it's beautiful inside. Obviously, they've had to keep it the same outside, but inside the church is like a Gurdwara. Hello, Nicky, and everybody who's joining. Thank you so much. So they do a lot for the community, the Sikh people. They're very well integrated to society here. They've got a care van. They help the homeless people and so on. But so do the Hindus and the Muslims as well. But yeah, so Grace Ross Cadell, she actually got expelled from Sophia Jex-Blake's school. Right, do you know why she got expelled? She stayed on 1 hour late to look after a patient. She was supposed to finish at 5 o'clock, right? But she didn't finish until 6 o'clock because she was monitoring a heart patient. So she got expelled. But she took them to court and won. She sued the school and won. She sued the school 1-0 to Grace Ross Cadell. Take that. She became a suffragette, right? She actually became the leader of the Leith branch of the WPSU, the Women's Social and Political Union. And she once got fined £50 in coppers, right? And you know what she did? She got fined £50. So do you know what she did? She paid for them in coppers. It weighed £50 in weight. 2-0 to Grace Ross Cadell. Controversially, she left the WPSU and she joined the WFL, the Women's Freedom League, in 1912. And that actually led to her losing all her possessions. And they were sold off at the Mercat Cross on the Royal Mile in Edinburgh. Because, do you know why? Well, one of their main policies was no taxation without representation. In other words, females were not allowed to have the vote. We're not going to pay tax. Okay, hello, Trisha. So, Mark, that's Leith's oldest building there. The yellow one, the church. St Ninian's, 1493. Hello, Trisha and everyone. Becca. It's a Grade A listed building, of course. Yeah, she lived in Leith Walk, right? She never married. But she lived in Leith Walk. And her house became a shelter for suffragettes. Because what happened was one of the policies the British government did was to force feed the suffragettes trying to get the vote. And some of them had catastrophic injuries. And the authorities released them back into Grace's care until they were fit again. And then they put them back in prison again. They're pretty much evil, like. And one time she actually had to be forced. She had to be forced to be removed by court because she was attending the trial of a lady who had been Maud Edwards, I think her name was, and she had been charged with slashing the portrait of King James IV that was on display in the Royal Scottish Academy on Princess Street, and the Queen Victoria statue as well. And Maud was found guilty and sentenced to 3 months in prison, right? And that enraged Grace so much she was kicked out of the court. And then in 1928, women over 21 were allowed to give it. They got their vote, you know what I mean? But look at this, they got their vote, and the signal's just dropped. Hello everyone who's joining. Look at this. Can any guesses why it's called Parliament Street? In fact, before I go, I'll just show you this. Any train spotting fans here? Do we have any train spotting fans? You know the movie from Leith, Edinburgh, about the heroin addicts and the violent psychopath called Begbie? Yep. Well, here we go. These are the most iconic buildings in the whole of Leith. Get rid of your postcards. Some people bring you the Taj Mahal, the Red Square in Moscow. I bring you multi-storey car parks, Tesco car parks, waste refusal bins, and now I bring to you brutalist architecture, the banana flats. Look at this concrete monstrosity. This is also a Grade A listed building. Can you believe it? This was built in the 1960s. They're actually called Cable's Wine House, believe it or not. But they're infamous in train spotting. In train spotting, one of the characters is called Sick Boy, Simon, and he lives there. And if you watch Train Spotting 2, you will see a scene where they do a flashback scene where Mark and Renton go to buy heroin for the first time. I do tours about train spotting, right? So on my train spotting tours, I bring people here. It's about halfway through the tour, right? So you know what I do? I stop down there, right? I stop down there with my tour groups and I tell them about the banana flats and all that. And then I say to them, right, because this is a train spotting tour, we're going to go for a heroin break. I'm going to buy some heroin. Who wants to come with me, right? And so I start walking across the road as if I'm going into the banana flats. And you would be surprised at the number of people that actually follow me. Some people actually follow me. Can you believe it? Like, I'm only kidding. That's why my tour, last year, my train spotting tour, won the best community tour in the whole world by Lonely Planet. Because when I took the guy in the train spotting tour, I took him for a heroin break halfway through and got him out of his tits. So we won the best community tour in the world because of that. And by the way, that's the most deprived area in Edinburgh. See that building there, the banana flats? That's officially the most deprived area in the whole of Edinburgh. You've got Michelin star restaurants here, 3 of them, £200 for dinner. And they people live on less than £5 a day. I'm just going to try and cross this road without getting killed a second. Hurry up, buddy. Come on. Yeah. So look here. Yeah, because they're shaped like a banana. The curve. You see here? Look. See it says Tollbooth Wine? Have I been to the £200 dinner? No, not here. I have been to a Michelin star restaurant in Spain, in Marbella, and I got it for free. It was a 10 course seafood menu with a different wine for each course. So I've done that once in Marbella. So yes, remember Parliament Street. You've all heard about Mary Queen of Scots, yeah? But that street there was called Parliament Street because when Mary Queen of Scots got sent to France by her mother eventually became the regent, the ruler of Scotland. Right? And she ruled Scotland from that street, Parliament Street. So Mary of Guise, she was French, from one of France's richest families. She built a palace there and ruled Scotland from there. She brought in 6,000 French troops to protect her and Leith. So Leith became part of France for 12 years before the French were forced to leave when Mary of Guise died. So Mary of Guise was the mother of Mary Queen of Scots. And she was from one of France's most powerful families and richest families. And Henry VIII of England had asked to marry Mary of Guise. But Mary of Guise replied to Henry VIII, I may be a tall lady, but I have a very short neck. Because I think Henry VIII was on to his 4th wife by that point. So Mary of Guise married King James V of Scotland rather than Henry VIII of England, which was probably a wise move, to be honest. Ronnie, 3 P's. How's life, Ronnie, anyway? So this is the shore area now. The shore area of Leith. This is considered the most salubrious area of Leith. The same Michelin star restaurants, bistros, gelaterias. There's not very many working bars left. There's a couple of local bars. You've got the Malt and Hops along here, but that's Martin Wishart's over there. See the restaurant on the corner? That's Martin Wishart's, £200 for dinner. You get wine with it, right enough. £85 for lunch for 2 course, I think. 3 course with 2 glasses of wine. You see here? Quite busy today. Well, it's not busy, but there's quite a few people sitting about. During lockdown, this became very popular. When all the bars were closed, there was literally hundreds of people here. No, this is mostly locals here. You do get tourists. You've got the ex-Royal Yacht Britannia here. If you haven't seen my video on YouTube, I put a video on YouTube. I've done a little tour of the Britannia, of the Royal decks. So if you want to go on my YouTube channel and watch the Royal Yacht Britannia tour, you can do that. I've now got 520 subscribers, so I actually got believe it or not, everyone, I got an email from YouTube today, right? Congratulations, Paul. You have now got enough subscribers to fill a jumbo jet. It said, I now have enough subscribers to fill a jumbo jet. It said, please share the news. But I didn't know how to. And of course, you're going to see here. I'm just going to show you here this piece of land. See these people standing here? See these people here? They're all my land. This is my property here. See this here? Some of you might recognise this. Look here. Nobody knows this is here, hardly. Sorry, pal, I'm just going to show people this a second. Look here. So hardly anyone knows this is here unless you sit down next to it. Oh, why is there a gimbal lens going? It's just a little plaque telling you about this is where Mary Queen of Scots landed on her return from France on the 19th of August in 1561. And that's where Leith's nickname, Leith is called Sunny Leith, Sunshine on Leith by the Proclaimers. And it was Mary Queen of Scots that gave us that nickname. Because when she arrived on the 19th of August in 1561, Leith was covered in a fog so thick you could hardly see. However, when Mary Queen of Scots stepped ashore, the fog suddenly cleared. And Mary Queen of Scots declared in her beautiful French accent, there is sunshine on Leith for me. So ever since then, Leith has been known as Sunny Leith. Some people say it's because the people of Leith had a sunnier outlook on life than the miserable buggers of Edinburgh. So there's a couple of theories about why Leith is called Sunny Leith. Obviously the Proclaimers sang about sunshine on Leith. Paul, do you have a PayPal account? Yes. I have a... You could do a virtual tour on a jumbo jet. Yes, I've got a PayPal. I thought, has anyone got my PayPal account there handy? I think it's my email address is purplepaul129@hotmail.com for my Gmail, for PayPal, I think. Thank you, Peter, for leaving a tip, by the way. Kelsey's YouTube link. I can't remember. Kelsey's helping us to create a calendar, by the way. Kelsey's helping us tour guide because I've not got a clue what I'm doing on YouTube and all that, you know. So you've got kind of like one sort of decent pub here. Malt and Hops is not too bad. See here? That's a kind of local pub. Be about £6 a pint, right enough. But anyway, some of the pubs down here are about £8 a pint and all that. It's went from being one of the roughest areas in Scotland to being one of the most sought after areas to live and work in here. It was massively affected by unemployment and drug addiction in the 1980s. Russia was at war with Afghanistan, and of course the whole world was flooded with cheap heroin. And the two main employers had closed down in Leith. The whisky bonds and the shipbuilders had all left Leith in 1983, and half of Leith was put into mass unemployment, poverty and deprivation. And that's when the heroin came on the scene. And of course, a lot of people in Scotland have got a problem with alcohol. And when heroin came along, it was just something else to take, wasn't it? So, Paul's YouTube, can I put a link in? Shipbuilders, yes. Leith has got a shipbuilding history of 600 years. We built the biggest ship in the world here. See here, King's Wharf. This was an old building, look. Originated in 1434 as a royal house for King James I of Scotland. But then, look, it was destroyed by fire during the 1544. It was blown up by the English. It wasn't destroyed by fire. It was deliberately blown up. On the orders of Henry VIII, Leith was blown up, destroyed twice, to try and force the marriage between Mary Queen of Scots and his son Edward. Most of you will have heard about that on my train spotting tours, on my Mary Queen of Scots tours. It was a SHIT. That's what I'm saying. I hope I get away with doing what I want, man. You know, if I go to a new platform, I hope I get away with all my nonsense, eh? They'll still have to let me get away with all my nonsense. It'd be quite boring if I didn't, if I wasn't allowed to use my sense of humour and my wit. I know it's not that good, but it's not bad, you know what I mean? Yeah. Hertford was Henry never came to Scotland at that point. It was Hertford was the man in charge. So this is the shore area of Leith. Quite nice here, isn't it? We've got a floating hotel here. We've got 2 floating hotels. We've got the Ocean Mist and the Fingal. £500 for the cabin, for the suite. £300 on average, £250 a night. The Fingal round the corner is £1,500 a night. £1,500 a night, can you believe it? For a cabin. And it went to number 1 on TripAdvisor. Can you believe it? So this is the old custom house here. You can see here. Designed by Robert Reid in 1810. This was to measure all the goods coming in to the port, obviously. Edinburgh was taking all the taxes, of course. Nice little benches to sit on as well. So is there anyone here who could afford to spend £1,500 a night on a boat? Because if there is, I'll be looking for a big tip at the end of this one, eh? So this is quite a cool place to come for a coffee. Williams and Johnson's, they roast their own coffee here. Quite a nice little place, eh? But yeah, the staff are pretty... I must admit, the staff were always pretty slow every time I went in there. There used to be a clothes shop here. I don't know if it's still open. There used to be a clothes shop. They supplied some of the clothes for Trainspotting 2, the movies. You can see here, get the big boat. I've been on board that. They've actually got a Banksy on board that. There's a Banksy painting, and I've seen a photograph of Banksy. The 2 guys fishing here, see? They must be Polish. The only thing will catch you to that river is a disease. Beautiful here, isn't it? A broken bike. Stolen cars. There's 2 cars buried in the river as well. Well, it's not actually a river, to be honest. It's actually the water of Leith. It's too small to be called a river, and it's too big to be called a burn. B-U-R-N. So it's called the water of Leith. It's over 22 miles long. I don't know how big a river has to be classified as a river. Do we have anybody intelligent here? Do I fish? I did go fish. I used to fish in Spain. When I lived in Spain, I used to fish. Sea fishing, beach casting. I like beach casting. And they'll not catch anything in there. Oil catches a disease. There's eels. You'll get eels. But the river used to be tidal, but they cut it off at high tide at the end of the 1960s, you know. So there's a link to my YouTube channel, everyone. So there's a video there about the Royal Yacht Britannia, the Royal Decks. There's a 1 o'clock gun video. If you can like a video, watch it. Subscribe to my channel. Try to get 1,000 subscribers. I'm still trying to figure out how to work YouTube Live right enough, but I'll get there. I've done a couple of tests on Facebook Live, so that wasn't too bad. By the way, right, look, I've got a good face for the radio, yeah. I should be on the radio, yeah. Now, see in here, this used to be a down market nightclub called the Manhattan. It's called the Granary now. It used to be called the Manhattan, right? It was a down market nightclub, and I asked a girl to dance once, right? I asked a girl to dance there once, and she threatened to stab me. I mean, I know I'm not that good looking, but I'm not that bad that she wanted to threaten to stab me for asking for a dance. I was like, whoa. Where's the cat? Oh, it's too hot. There we go, the oyster box. You can go on board the boat now for afternoon tea and all that. They used to sell oysters from there. Leith's now changed, eh? It's all like Michelin star restaurants, seafood restaurants. Up until 2001, there was a prostitution tolerance zone here. And the lady I'm going to talk about next is Sheila Anderson. Never forget her name, Sheila Anderson. And she was a sex worker here on the streets of Leith. See the boat, the barge. Marie of Guise. No statue, of course, of Mary of Guise who ruled Scotland. No statue of Mary Queen of Scots or Mary of Guise. Anyway, that's another story. What was I talking about again? I've just forgotten what I was talking about. Oh, aye. Did you find out who sent me the cab? Aye, I did. My sister. My sister sent me. I didn't know who it was. It's so funny. I thought I had a stalker. Aye, so Sheila Anderson was a sex worker, right? She used to sell her trade across the road from my house when I was growing up. I used to see her on a regular basis, Sheila Anderson, right? Now you've got to bear in mind, most of the sex workers in the 1980s were heroin addicts. The pimps just got them addicted to heroin, you know. And Sheila Anderson was a bit of a feisty character, right? And it's believed she got picked up in Leith, right? She actually got picked up just along here in a car, right? And the car took her along to Gypsy Brae, a place further along there, right? And they've done the business, right? And we don't know what happened, but what we think happened is that the guy, her customer, refused to pay her for whatever reason, right? The customer refused to pay her. So Sheila Anderson got out of the car, she got dressed and got in the car, and she stood in front of the car to stop him driving away without paying her. And the guy, the evil bugger, he just drove over her and killed her. Her underwear was found down the east coast of Scotland. He was never found. The bugger got away. And of course the other sex workers put up a wall of silence, because you know what the Scottish police did at one point? You know what one of the suggestions they did? One of the laws they brought in to try and stop the heroin abuse and addiction that was going on, the crime. If you got caught with a set of needles for injecting heroin, you got 3 months in prison, right? So after Sheila Anderson got murdered, the police tried to question the ladies, but the ladies were too scared. They were terrified to speak to the police because they'd be put in prison. So the police had to change the law. Idiots, man. Thank you, Donna. See, this is called the Angel Hotel. This used to be a brothel, by the way. This is the Malmaison's first hotel. Built in 1883 for the Sailors Society. You can see the ghost signage above the door. Sailors' Home. And the Sailor Society moved away from Leith. It quickly became a run-down hotel, like for homeless people and people with mental health problems and antisocial behaviour, addictions, alcoholics and so on. I went on a Sunday, do you remember the pubs used to close? The pubs and the bars used to close on a Sunday between like 2:30 and 5:30. But some hotels were allowed to stay open, right, to allow the residents to get a drink. Well, this hotel used to stay open, and they allowed non-residents to get a drink, right? So I went one Sunday to the bar, had the pool tables and all that. And you know the first Star Wars movie? And they go into the bar, and it's all like aliens with trumpets and saxophones and all that. Well, when I went into this bar in here, it was like a scene out of Star Wars. There was people with horns coming out their heads. There was a guy with no legs shuffling about trying to sell you heroin. It was like, I've never seen anything like it in my life. It was like, you didn't know these people existed, you know? It was like, wow, man. And then the Malmaison took over in 1995 and spent £1 million on it to get it looking like it is today. And during the lockdown, actually, a guy got his bike stolen. The first lockdown, a guy got his bike stolen over here, right? And his mate was a scuba diver. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. That's what scuba means, by the way. You'll never forget that. Once you've learnt that once, you'll never forget it. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Scuba diving. And so the guy got his bike stolen, right? And so his mate was a scuba diver. So his mate says, I'll go in and look for your bike, right? Well, he found his bike. He found 20 hire bikes, 20 other bikes, 20 bikes he found. And underneath the Blue Bridge, there's actually 2 cars buried underneath the bridge in the silt. Because the river was locked off at high tide at the end of the 1960s, it's never been dredged. So this is like went from being 20 feet deep to being a couple of feet deep in places. So the guy found two cars underneath the bridge. buried. Can you believe that? He also found a safe, right? Somebody had obviously broken into a premises somewhere and found and stolen the safe, right? Now, I don't know how the safe got here, but the safe was in the water, right? The safe was in the water. Well, the scuba divers found the safe, and he's managed to get the door open, right? And inside the safe was a waterproof box. There was a box, unopened, still in the safe, right? So the scuba diver's getting quite excited at this point because he thought, oh, there could be money or jewellery or gold or something in it. So he's got the box open, he's taken the box out of the water, he's got it to the side, he's opened up the box. Condoms and pornographic magazines. Somebody had broken into the brothel and chucked the safe into the water. So all they got was condoms and porno mags. They did not tell you if you could read the porno mags, of course. Pages might have been stuck together, you know. It's not like today when they've got like Pornhub. We had to use catalogue lingerie models when we were young. Hello everyone, it's Paul here again. It's me talking nonsense as usual. You've got to have a laugh in life, you know, life's too short, man, eh? We've only got a few days left on Heygo. We may as well go the whole hog. You know what I mean? Live life on the edge. Life is too short and all that. How you doing, Fraz? Living the dream, mate, eh? Where else would I rather be? Hiya, pal. How you doing? I'm doing another festival, by the way. October. That's Fraz, the guy there, man. He's a guy who helps with the Leith Comedy Festival. He does all the PR for them and all that. Look at the Swans. We've got a bit of a territorial battle going on with the Swans and Leith, by the way. Look, she's on top of nests, eggs. I don't know how many eggs I've got this year. They lost 7 last year because a swan chased them off. There's a big territorial battle going on between the swans. In fact, the volunteers were supposed to be coming this weekend to tidy it up. They've got swan volunteers in the water Leith to come along. And they're going to clear up the nest, take away all the plastic and all that, you know what I mean? Look, it's pretty messy. But they built that themselves earlier on. A couple of months ago they built that. But there is a territorial... Swans are territorial, aren't they? So once their kids get to a certain age, they chase them off. There's a partner there. So there could be another swan. There's a rogue swan going about trying to chase them away all the time. So it's a bit of a shame. So it's all happening down in Leith, by the way. So just remember, if you do come to Edinburgh, you must come down to visit Leith as well. You've got the ex-Royal Yacht Britannia here. We've got the world's first vertical whisky distillery opening up quite soon as well. In fact, we'll be able to see it. Can we see it? 1 second, everyone. This is the new tram line coming here. Look. I'm a rebel without a clue. Look. This is all the tram. This is just opened up, everyone. Look. So see this building here? That black building sticking up on its own? That's the world's first whisky distillery. Subtitles. Yeah, they don't work with me. A very strong smell of fish. Oh, I can smell his fish. I wonder if it's from the kitchen or the restaurant. That's the Heygo, by the way. That's the luxury floating hotel there. Erin, it doesn't help. You would think I'm not speaking English or something. I must admit, Americans struggle with my accent. Some Americans struggle with my accent quite hard. They think my accent is quite hard to understand. I can't see it myself. I think I'm easy to understand. But that's just me, right enough, eh? Ah, cheers, pal. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, pal. Well, they're all being so kind to me today, and Leith are moving away with my gimbal. As opposed to Edinburgh, they all look at you like you've got 2 horns coming out the back of your head in Edinburgh. You are American. Thank you, Tracy, for leaving that tip. Yeah, some Americans do struggle with my accent. And bizarrely, Russian people, right? English is the first language of Americans, right? And they struggle with my accent. But Russian people, and their first language is not English, Russian people can understand me. Somehow I don't understand that. It's maybe just the harshness of my accent, you know. My mum and husband can't understand you at all. I have no problems. Yeah, some people do struggle with my accent, so it's quite funny. In my in-person, when I worked for Invisible Cities, that was our biggest complaint, was understanding us. So lovely here, isn't it? Nice guys out cutting the grass. See, beautiful views onto the water of Leith here. It took me 5 hours to understand his accent. They're rushing about, I know. I'm okay, it sounds like people from Stoke. By the way, what's the signal like? Because I've only had one bath. It's okay, is it? Bizarre, eh? Oh, I'm just about to go over the hour. Oh, I've went over the hour, everyone. I apologise. I'll keep back other tour guys. By the way, thank you so much for coming on my tour. I did not realise the time. Thank you for coming on my tour, everybody. I don't like to go over the 1 hour unless I've booked the 1 hour. So I'm going to say bye-bye just now. But if you can please join me tomorrow. I've got another tour coming up tomorrow. And Sunday as well. And Monday and Tuesday. And then it's the end. It's gone. Tuesday's gone, like the wind. Thank you for all the people leaving a tip, by the way. It's much appreciated. Have a great day. Keep on Heygo, everybody. Peace out, man.